Yours, thank you.
Cheers, Dave. Hi, Carlos. I hope you're well.
Thank you very much. Me too.
Good stuff. Can we start with the side that travelled to Bristol? Do you have any fresh injury concerns from that, or any fresh COVID concerns from that side?
No, fortunately with this situation, anything have changed. So we are going to have the same available players that were traveling to Bristol are going to be available if anything changed in the last day. So hopefully everything continue in that way because we didn't lose any more player.
Good to hear. Going back to that Bristol win, you said afterwards, in the face of adversity, your side overcame the situation. How pleased is it to see that character and all this hard work over the last few weeks and months, Carlos, pay off in that game?
I think it was something necessary to do, because if you don't have this point of character, it will be impossible to achieve the 3 points. And for us, the 3 points were very, very, very important, because when you arrive in one dynamic where you are not achieving the result that you want to achieve, and we didn't win any of the last previous 4 games before Bristol, for us it was important to get that result.
We've spoken a lot, haven't we? The defence has been praised a lot, Carlos, this season, but it was the attack that shone a lot on Saturday. It was the first time in 11 your side scored over one goal in a game. How much faith did you have in your attack in front that they were always going to turn that around?
I think in football, as soon as you just put all the possibilities of one game in one football moment, you start to reduce your possibilities to go in the game. I think from the beginning we want to be one team brave in attack, solid and aggressive in defense. It's something that we are not going to change. It's something that we want to show that we are. If we only are able in some games to be solid and not aggressive or brave to attack, our style is not going to be complete. Then the options to go for the game are going to reduce. If we only are brave to attack and we are not aggressive in defense or solid in defense, our options to go for that game are going to be reduced too. So for me, it's the balance between these 3 aspects that are key in our style, what is going to increase the possibility that we have to get the game's consequence to show one positive result, perform.
Do you feel with the 3 goals on Saturday, it's almost a case of your side over the last few weeks has been waiting to show that it's bottled up almost, and now they've got those 3 goals, it could almost have an effect where the confidence is there to take those chances, because the chances have been there in recent weeks. It's just the end product. And now, do you feel that'll help the confidence with the likes of Ward, Sinani, Holmes, who were on the score sheet?
I think I can analyze the situation depending about the game. For example, the game that we were playing against Coventry was true that we didn't create enough chances for me to can score this number of goals. The other day was different, because for me the other day from the first second the team was attacking, even if directly we concede 1 goal in the second minute of the game. So sometimes because the structure, sometimes because the players, because the moment, what you try to do in attack allow you to create one chance. Sometimes what you try to do in attack doesn't allow you, because maybe the defense structure of the opponent don't allow you, and you cannot find the solution that always is important to find. After, when you talk about confidence, I think without confidence, you cannot attack and you cannot create chance. Then for me, always the confidence need to be there to can create the things that you need to create, or to can achieve the result that you want to achieve. Because if you don't have confidence, for me, we are talking about football, it's a one game. Without confidence, you don't try. Without confidence, instead to try to make the driving of the ball, you don't drive. Without confidence, instead to pass in forward, you pass back. Without confidence, you don't want the ball. So first off, to have a good performance, and if we want that our result be the consequence of the performance, you need to have confidence. But it's true that when you are having results, the results can help you to in the confidence. So for me are the 2 things. We don't have to wait for the result to have confidence, because we know that in football, in one game, if you don't have confidence, you don't want the ball. If you don't want the ball, you are not going to attack. So the most important thing is to keep the confidence even when the results are not working how you want.
And do you feel, sticking on confidence after that win, how obviously a very hectic schedule at the moment with all the festive fixtures, what has that done for the mood of the players and yourself and your coaching team this week and going into Blackpool?
Just analyzing the things that we were doing well to keep doing, analyzing the things that we can do better to protect from repeat the same type of situation, like all we do. Try to use always the previous experiences to make us grow, and try to see that the other day, in many of the moments of the game, we find the right balance between to be solid or to be aggressive and to be brave. And the idea is to always try to keep this balance in the games.
What are the plans then for obviously the game on Boxing Day? Training wise, will the players be in on Christmas Day? Will they be in tomorrow? What plans have you put in place as the coach before the Blackpool match?
I think we are now in one special moment of the year, because for me, in England, you cannot talk about Christmas without talk about football. Football and Christmas are together, and this is one of the more nice things in that moment. Football is part of the families, of the things that in this period of time the people is going to do. So for me, we need to know that every football player, of course, is a human being, but is a special human being in these moments, because you have football. But it's true that, first of all, the day that, because the age, because the players finish their careers, when they are in the Boxing Day and they are watching the TV, they would like to be 100% playing the football game, for sure. So what we need to do is to realize how special we are, and the opportunity that we have in front of us is to play this type of game, this type of situation. As soon as you have one game, you cannot make in the things that is making everyone in the world now in this period of time. So you need to feel that you have one different commitment, that the commitment that your family is going to have. But this is the commitments arrive from the responsibilities, and this is normal in the life. If someone is pregnant, has commitments that are going to make that someone is making something different of the other people. So it's just to realize how nice commitment we have, because we have the opportunity to play in the Boxing Day. If one day we are not having that game, we will be missing a lot the feeling to have the game. And knowing that you have a game, you are going to have commitments, some sacrifices that are going to be necessary in your job. So that's why we will train the day before of the game, because we have to prepare the game. We will do it in the afternoon to have time with the family. That is important too, find always this balance, but always knowing that we have one very nice responsibility that make us feel that we are lucky to have.
You've worked in England for a few years now, Carlos. When you first arrived, what did you make to the Christmas schedule here? It's so busy, and how does that compare to in Spain this time of year? There's always a lot made, isn't there, of it's so busy over Christmas. Why isn't there a winter break? What do you make of it, and what do you make of it now that you've almost got used to it a little bit?
I think it's different because, like I told you, talk about Christmas without talk about football in England is, you cannot. It's part of the culture, it's part of the habits that are creating here, and is one part of the more nice things. When I was in Spain, I was always watching the Boxing Day, and you are watching these football games because, like, you like football. The country where you can see football is England. So always when you were far, you were watching this like, what a nice moment to be involved or part of. So now when you are part of that moment, only you can feel how important, and you feel satisfied about to have the opportunity to be playing in this type of scenarios or situations.
We'll move on then to Blackpool, the game that you'll be preparing for on Christmas Day. Newly promoted, but they've got off to a decent start back to life in the Championship. 3 points behind Huddersfield Town. You've, of course, already beaten them this season. What do you think the differences are between back in September when you played them and then coming into this game at the weekend?
Not many. For me, at the end, not many difference, because for me, one of the keys of them is that they were keeping one style in the positive starting of the season, and after it's true that the other day they won the game, but they didn't arrive in a very positive dynamic of results. I don't know if they were winning just one of the last 7 games, something like this. But for me, something that they did really well was to keep doing the things that were helping us at the beginning. But this is talking about the opponent. What we need to do is to be, of course, concentrating ourselves. But I find a lot of similar situation of the game that we will play in September and the game that we will play on Sunday.
And final one from me, back at home on Boxing Day, how much would it mean for you to give the Huddersfield Town fans a late Christmas present with an extra 3 points?
This is always our desire. This is always our try of inside commitment. And of course, giving our best, try to control or be very concentrated in the things that we can control. For me, we can control how we perform, how we attack, how we defend. and trying to put these 2 moments in the highest level that we can, because of course, to have a good result in that day is something very special, because the day, because the dynamic of the team, because this is only what always we want. But maybe a little bit more when you are playing at home with all your fans back in the team.
Thank you, Carlos. Very Merry Christmas to you and your family, and good luck for Sunday.
Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you.
Stephen, we'll come to you.
Hey, Carlos. You had a new player on the bench at the weekend. You had Aaron Rowe back in the team. That's good news for you, isn't it?
Yes, I think Aaron Rowe is one player that unfortunately we couldn't have him in the first weeks. Only we could have him in the first 2 weeks of the preseason, but after we have lost during a long period of time. We know that Aaron Rowe, as soon as we are thinking to continue playing with line of three, is one player that for me switched very well the position to play as a wing back, because for me his main position. Some players are more wingers that have to play as a wing backs. Some players are more fullback that have to play as a wing backs, but another players are wing backs. Then for me, Aaron Rowe is one player that can play perfectly in that position. If we are playing with line of four, is one player that we have to decide where we find that he can give more things to the team, as a fullback, as a very offensive fullback, or to have one option in him to play as a winger. He's a player that have played in all these three positions or four positions. He can play as a right back, he can play as a left back, he can play as a right winger, as a left winger. And for me, the main position of him is playing as a wing back.
And speaking of that position, how's Pippa doing in training?
Pippa is fine. This week start to be training a little bit more normal, or training with more normal intensity. Still has pain, but this part of pain is part of the normal pain that he's going to have in the next period of games. We still are waiting to the medical staff to see when he's going to be available to play any game. The idea was to play any of the game during that week with the B team, but like the B team at the end couldn't play any of the friendly games that we have in mind. He couldn't play the game, but we are using all this time to make the normal training with the group. Today, like, we are going to do more game situation with more intensity. We are going to check how he continue growing and adapting to his new possibilities.
It would give you you talk about Aaron Rowe being back and how he could play at wing back, and Pippa could obviously go there as well. What does that mean for Sorba Thomas? Would you look to keep him at wing back, or would you move him up to the wing? I
think the best performance of Sorba is being as a wing back, because for me, one player that when he has a space in front of him to run, he can use this speed to unbalance opponents. So I don't consider right now the option to play as a winger, because for me, he's performing better as a wing back than as a winger.
It gives you a real selection decision to make then, doesn't it, when you've got all those players fit?
This is something for me really positive, because when you have more than one option, for me, even for the bench, it's something positive, because if one player is not performing well, you will have the possibility to play with another one that is going to offer to you something different, or can keep the option of the balance that we try to have in our two wing backs, trying to have one more attacking one, another one that can be more defensive one. And with this, we always have the possibility to change to line of four, or to play directly with line of four, because one of the wing backs can defend as a fullback, one of the wing backs can defend as a winger, and depending about the structure of the opponent, we always can adapt to try to keep these 3 points that I told you, to be solid, to be aggressive, and to be brave to attack.
And can I check as well, how are Jonathan Hogg and Alex Vallejo doing? Are their progress going as expected?
I think with Hogg, he's having the right recovery. He's having now he's making some training in the pitch with the medical staff. During the next week, he will start with the medical staff. Let's see if he can finish making some training with the group. If not, the latest moment that he's going to add with the group will be in 2 weeks' time, if everything continues the way that is doing right now. With Alex Vallejo, the situation is very different, because we cannot be thinking in Alex Vallejo in the next 10 weeks.
Okay, and Rolando Aarons as well, how's his prognosis looking after you talked about his injury?
At the end, they decided that the best way to recover his injury was to make the surgery. He had one surgery 3 days ago, and now he's going to start his time of recovery. That is going to take some months to make him come back to the group.
Are we unlikely to see him this season then?
I cannot tell you now exactly the time of the recovery. Everything is going to depend about how he recovered. But it's true that the time of the injury and the moment of the surgery is going to make a challenge for him to come back before to finish the season.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thanks, Carlos. Merry Christmas.
Thanks. Same
Thanks,
to you.
Stephen. Leon, thanks for your patience. We'll come to you.
Hello, Carlos. Hi.
How are you, Leon?
Hi. Last Christmas, you had some big wins against Watford, against Blackburn at home. But emotionally, there were no supporters there and they couldn't share in it. It'll be a big moment if you could do that again with supporters psychologically and emotionally. It's a big time of year.
No, it would be fantastic to have a positive results to give to the fans the thing that we want to give the happiness to the fans that always we want to give. So to the fact that they are here with us, and because the last year maybe they were in the TV, but the fact that they are here in the stadium with us make us feel the responsibility and the commitment to try to make always performing the highest level that we can perform for them.
Tell me about Boxing Day in Spain. Did your day involve a lot of watching football from England? Was it part of your Christmas?
Yes, because it was the only country or the most important football that you could watch at that moment of time. So always in the Boxing Day, we have one part of our mind, of our eyes are with the family, but another part of the eyes are watching the football, watching the exciting games that arrive or close to this period of time.
Do you have any memories, any Christmas memories of games from England, from going up and watching maybe?
Oof, I cannot tell you exactly now which game I was watching, because it's true that I was watching many times different games. I remember some of the games of Arsenal at that moment with Wenger that I was enjoying, because that Arsenal at that moment for me was making one exciting football when I was young. Then it's true that in some moments when I was, for example, working in Saudi Arabia, I had games there too. So I was involved in 2 of the Christmas times. I was having game too. When you are working, sometimes you are more focused in the things that you have. You are focused, 100% focused in the things that you have, that you depend on you, or you are involved more than the things of another country. So it's true that I have always tends to have the possibility to be linked in the last 4 years, be linked with football here in England in the last 5 years, and before it's true that when I was in Saudi Arabia too. So the memories need to arrive from by long time ago.
Christmas is a time for seeing old friends, and a former Huddersfield player, Richard Keogh, may be coming back on Boxing Day. Just a word about him. He was a good professional in his time at the club.
Yes, all the Huddersfield people, we appreciate a lot the work that he was doing for us. He was one player that helped us to achieve the target of the last year, and always the player that they were giving everything that they have, because for me, he's very honest professional. He's someone that is going to give you everything that he has, and during the time that he was working with us, he was doing exactly what he is. So always we appreciate this, and we hope the best for every player that was helping with his honest performances that club.
And if you have a good Christmas and some good results, Christmas, New Year, that can really set you up. You had some difficulties last year, but it would be nice to reverse that this year.
I think, of course, every year is different, and what we need to do is to prepare in the best way that we can prepare to face the period of game that we are going to have right now. This period of game with 3 games in 1 week start next Sunday against Blackpool, and our determination, our focus and concentration is going to be to arrive to that game to show the best performance that this team can do in the pitch.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad for you too. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leon. Arif, thanks very much for your patience. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just a few from me. Hi, Carlos. Just to go back, no COVID cases or anything like that in the clubs. Everything so far in that concern is fine.
Yeah. Nowadays, all the players are available. We don't have any type of update. It's true that the situation can change every single day. It's true that we are following all the medical protocols, making the test every single day, knowing how important it is to be avoiding the risk to can have the COVID, because it's something very important for us. We have the vaccines the few days ago, and every measure that we can do, we are going to do, because for us it's very important to keep playing football and to keep in the way that we are doing.
Did all the players get the vaccine? Is that information allowed to be shared?
Yes, I cannot tell you exactly if it's all of them. I cannot tell you exactly some of this is in the second or in the third one, but the majority part of the team were receiving the third vaccine. That is the highest level of protection that we can receive right now.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of games cancelled. You know, even today, 3 or 4 already gone. Is that a concern? Do you feel worried that, you know, a lot of teams have got this virus and it could easily be passed on?
Of course, when you see the game cancel is something that is not positive, and it's something that nobody likes. Well, we want to continue playing football. We want to carry on. We want to always make the things that depend on us to be the more safe that we can, to protect everyone, protect the dressing room, protect our families, to protect our fans. And I think what football is doing now is to increase this healthy measures in the stadium to guarantee the protection of everyone. And as soon as we have this, we always are going to support this type of situation, because we want to carry on with the football, but we want to carry on with the healthy of everyone that is close to football. So hopefully we can have this balance, and we can keep playing football and continue enjoying the football with our fans in the stadiums.
And final one from me. Normally this time of year, schools give the students half-term reports to see how well they've done so far. What would you give for your team?
I think like the school have 2 days of 15 days of 10 days of break, they can do this. Like we don't have this type of break, I cannot tell you this. My concentration now is in Blackpool, but as soon as we have this time to break, we will reflect. It's true that every week we are reflecting. It's true that every week we analyze what we're doing, how the team is going, the dynamic, how we smell the players are growing, and which one deserves now more opportunities, who are ready to the first 11, nothing like this. So always part of our day by day is to take a conclusion from the previous game or to the previous group of games. But it's true that I cannot have that time now to say now have finished one period, because we play in 3 days. And after 3 days, we will play in another 3 days, and after in another 2 days. So I was going to be just focused in the next games that we are going to play.
Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, and same to you too.